This is going to be $100 million contract. There's no doubt about it in my mind. Right now, the highest paid coach in the sport is Eric Spoelstra, who got 8 years, 120, if I'm not mistaken. So that's $15 million a year. We just saw Andy Reid with the Kansas City Chiefs get, I think it was 5 years, $100 million extension. So, I mean, I think it's going to be in that ballpark somewhere between, 15 to $20 million a year.
Out, and I think you've seen it on some of the graphics. It's in my story on ESPN.com. Of all places, it was a JJ Redick, Dan Hurley podcast, and they were breaking down some X's and O's, and they were showing some of Danny's offensive actions, and you saw LeBron tweet over, kind of, I guess, quote tweet it about how impressive what they run at UConn is. There it is. He's so damn good, along with his staff, super creative with their offense. Love it. But this is a hire, certainly. Listen, they want to win in the short term. They have a team coming back that's a good team, maybe could be a very good team. But this is a decision and an idea for beyond LeBron James. I think Anthony Davis is at the forefront of this conversation, and it's important to the Lakers. And I've talked to Anthony Davis about this in recent weeks, not about Dan Hurley, but about the idea that he wants to have a voice in this. He wants to be on the same page with the new head coach, whoever that is, and see how that coach may use him, the actions that he can put him in. And that's important to the Lakers, that Anthony Davis is on board with what this would all look like. Rob Pelinka, Jeannie Buss believe Danny Hurley is the best available coach in basketball right now, regardless of level. And that's why they are making such a determined effort to get him. They are preparing what I'm told is a long and massive contract offer for Hurley that you can expect they're going to present him here in the coming days.
Well, as the resident Lakers fan, I absolutely love this for the team to be able to get somebody that can have a long-term vision for them to make that kind of commitment. But I'm curious, in the short term, what does it mean for the Lakers this summer with the young players like Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura? What does it mean for a player like D'Angelo Russell that has a player option? What does it mean for the 3 tradable first-round draft picks?
Well, number one, I know that the Lakers look at Hurley as a coach who can still provide growth for the young players they have on the roster. Austin Reeves is a great, undrafted development story. It's a great story for the Lakers to be able to tell about, identifying him, signing him, and then you've seen his growth. Rui Hachimura, Max Christie, who you've seen in, I think he's 20 years old. He's a restricted free agent. He's going to be a good player in the NBA, and having Dan Hurley potentially working with those young players, that's important to them. They've got the 17th pick in this draft. The idea that the Lakers are just going to gas all their picks and trade for a third star, you guys, you look at how rosters are being built in the NBA, that's not what works. If you can't gut your roster of all your young players and good young contracts and picks and have this top-heavy roster, the salary cap doesn't allow it. And so that doesn't mean the Lakers aren't going to make moves this summer. That doesn't mean they can't improve. But I think the value of a Dan Hurley is you are going to have to draft well. You are not just trading all your picks anymore. You keep your picks, you develop young players, and then when you're in LA, when the big star becomes available, like the last Anthony Davis, whoever the next Anthony Davis is, that you have enough assets to potentially trade for that player, or you're creating cap space to sign that player into your cap space, and you've got these complementary pieces around him that you've got to grow and develop. They see Dan Hurley as perfect for that.
We're talking with Adrian Wojnarowski, of course, who broke this story about the Los Angeles Lakers targeting Danny Hurley as their next head coach. It is important to note for Lakers fans, I was being serious, The Miracle of St. Anthony is a book that Woj wrote about Danny Hurley's father, Bobby Hurley Sr. If you want to learn more about the Hurley family, that is the book to read, available wherever you can get your books. New York Times bestseller. Woj, you've been very clear in your reporting that they are targeting him. You have never said he is going to be the next head coach. So if he's not their next head coach, why would he not be?
Well, listen, there's a lot to weigh. This is, for Dan Hurley, you're not just going from college to the NBA. This is a lifelong East Coast resident, right? Jersey City, coached high school basketball in Jersey, was a college assistant in Jersey, head coach at Wagner, Rhode Island, UConn. He's been in that same geographic area. Now, that doesn't preclude him from going to LA, but certainly those are factors. That's where his life has been. But listen, I think Dan Hurley is taking this under very serious consideration. He wouldn't be talking to the Lakers if he didn't. And so it won't be because the Lakers aren't showing him that they absolutely believe he can do this, that they have a plan in place to give him the latitude to do this. And I think Rob Pelinka really would like a partner for the long term. They have seen in LA, from Pat Riley to Phil Jackson, kind of some legacy coaches in LA. They want Dan Hurley to be that for the Lakers. That's what they want to sell him on in the coming days. The NBA has always been an ambition of his. And, it's funny, we talk about, you mentioned the Miracle of St. Anthony. This is the 20th anniversary of that book, the year I spent with Bob Hurley Sr. in St. Anthony's in Jersey City. Danny was at St. Benedict's then. I remember going over to the gym. J.R. Smith, I think, was a junior in high school. I remember sitting in the bleachers with Dan Hurley, watching J.R. Smith work out, which essentially was maybe his first NBA player. He had Tristan Thompson there too. But it's also the 20th anniversary of the Lakers' pursuit of Mike Krzyzewski at Duke. Went after him in 2004. He stayed at Duke. If you were going after Mike Krzyzewski now, and I think he was probably in his mid-50s, it'd probably be a different result with the climate of college basketball, NIL, how it's all changed. I think Coach K might have looked at it differently in 2024 than 2004, and they are determined to land Dan Hurley.